Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
We
What
are
was?
the Upsiders.
Hey, hallelujah! What was all that?
Who are
Whoa,
we?
whoa, whoa!
Oh, I was really excited.
Oh,
Really
okay.
excited.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I
Is that
thought
going
you
to
were
be my
having
new
a.
Is that going to be my new trademark?
I thought you were.
Whoa. Hey.
I thought you were having an earthquake, Los. I got nervous there for a
Well,
minute.
when we're going up, man, you just feel it. So, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us on another
Mm.
episode of The Upsiders. What do we do, Bertram, as the Upsiders?
We look at the upside, son. We are the time traveler's guide to the present.
That's right. So all
Yeah. Is that
these
what you were looking for?
issues, yeah, exactly. All
Okay,
these
good.
issues,
Oh,
these
thank God.
problems going, all these issues, these problems going on in the world, just know that out there somewhere, someone is working on solutions. Very beautiful work being done. And so our job is to highlight that and celebrate those so we could continue
Mm.
that momentum of making the world better than we found it. So
Upsiders.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Los, artist formerly known as Los, your friendly neighborhood Los. And as always, I'm joined by
Pastor Bertram Jones. Angus. Never
not
mind.
not not Bishop Bertram.
Bishop Bertram Cobb.
But yeah, thanks for
Just
joining us.
stringing things
So
together to see what sticks. I'm sorry.
whatever
I'm
six.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
peanut
yeah,
butter.
Bertram, we're really trying to uplift Bertram today. He was just telling me about some tech issues you were having. So
I got yeah. I if anyone knows, I got my micro SD card. It got stuck. I put it in and it just kept going and it completely
just
disappeared
disappeared.
inside this little thing because it's a piece of junk and I gotta figure out how to crack this thing open because there's no like screws or anything. So Lowe's told me to go nuts and take a hammer to it, just destroy it. So I have some very important information somewhere in here.
But
Sorry,
yeah,
I'll
we're
see y'all
trying to help
later.
Bertram. It was it was really weighing on him. So here we are.
Still
But
is.
we're literally going up on this one here because today we're talking about a type of farming. Um, what type of
Mm.
farming, Bertram?
We are talking about vertical farming.
Ooh,
Vertical farming. It's on the up and up.
ooh, I like
That's
that. That's
that's my
perfect because
tagline.
we're the upsiders. So
Yeah. Have you had
so
any experience in vertical farming, Lowe's?
well, I think it's important to point out what is vertical farming and why is it
Mm.
important, right? So we know when we say vertical, we mean up, right? These things are
Yes.
growing up rather than out, which are, well, if I tell you what a farm looks like, you're thinking of a very expansive area with a barn over there and like some plants or some animals. That's what you think of when you think farm. But when we talk about vertical farming, what does that look like, Bertram?
Instead of sprawling fields, it's a farm that is stacked high, similar to like a multi-story building. It's a method of growing crops indoors in layers or on vertically inclined surfaces. I think anytime you play like a futuristic video game or watch a futuristic movie, there's always just stacks and stacks of stuff on top of each other where clearly we've run out of space as a species. And so all these futuristic buildings and houses and just pods and all sorts of weird stuff. Didn't they do that in the Matrix? No, the Matrix was like
Yeah,
a
no,
sprawling field. I don't think they
yeah,
stacked high in the
it was
Matrix. I
just
think the
endless. Yeah,
the humans were endless, yeah, fields of humans. And a lot of video games I play, like Mass Effect, there's always just these pods of just everything stacked very tall. That's the same with farming, which is a question of whether or not we are ready to go in this direction of how do we, instead of growing our food horizontally, how do we make it more vertical? And there's going to be some drawbacks, but there's also going to be some positives. And because this is the upside, we want to talk about what is the future of this and how are we on the up and up with our farming practices, especially in this country, because as you know, we take up a lot of space with these farms. A lot of I'm in Indiana, Los. A lot of farmland over here, and I guess you're near wine country, right? Like, got to grow those grapes, son.
Yeah, yeah, grapes, fruits,
Mm,
nuts. I think California is responsible for a third of the fruits and nuts that we eat in this country, or not eat. They're sitting on the shelves because we all know, you know, America doesn't eat as much fruits and vegetables as they should. But in terms of producing it, you know, yeah, we're up there.
yeah.
So yeah, vertical farming again is kind of you kind of hinted at it, right? Land is at a premium, property is at a premium. When
Mm,
someone like myself who loves cities, buildings, and all these structures and people and transit and all of that, you there's a lot of people in a small or condensed area. So, how are you going to feed those people? And how could people take it upon themselves to grow stuff on their own without the benefit of having acres and acres of farming
yes.
land? So,
Hmm.
vertical farming has always been talked up for, science fiction. Bertram talked about it. But yeah, now it's becoming more and more a reality on a mass scale, and so yeah, we're happy to dive into um
Those
something.
speaking of science fiction, for a long time, I think we thought about this idea of uh, flying cars, right? And that is just, I don't know how much closer that is to becoming a reality. But did you think that we would focus on flying farms before flying cars, Los? Did you ever picture flying farms in the future?
Flying cars, I love that. No, I did not. But I am not. Do you like the idea of driving flying cars? I don't. That just
I I th-
sounds
I thought it was a great idea until Neil deGrasse Tyson pointed out that could you picture a car accident in the sky?
yeah.
That would be catastrophic. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true.
They would happen. Yeah, those would be plane crashes effectively. And we know how those end. So I'm not, and you've seen people drive on actual surface. So could you imagine? You're basically a pilot up there, and then
Yeah.
unless it's autonomous, maybe then, and then
I've
how
been
high?
playing I've been playing this video game over the last week called Hell Let Loose, where it's like a massive World War II battle game with 100 people versus 100 people, and Los it has frozen like 5 different times today where I had to shut the game off in the middle of a fight. Could you imagine if that happened to your car in the middle of the sky where it just froze up on you? Los, this
It
game
won't
froze
start.
5 times on me in a day. You can't have 5 times your car freezes up on you in the sky.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, unless it becomes more robust with AI and just yeah, the
Yeah.
technology's just there. I just don't trust manual flying cars being up in the
Yeah.
sky.
Yep.
So, but we trust flying farms. Yeah. So
Yeah. Flying
let's
farms
talk more
are
about it.
amazing. Yeah,
So
specifically, Los and
yeah.
I wanted to talk about an article from the Good News Network. The Good News Network, where we try and find some of our good stuff. There is an article that we put in the show notes called Vertical Strawberry Farm in Virginia Uses AI to Create Maximum Berries with Peak Season Flavor Year Round, which I think, Los, you chose
Mm,
this article, didn't you? And I think we picked, once it said peak season flavor, we said, oh,
mm,
that is an Upsiders episode if I've ever seen one. And so there is a company called Plenty Unlimited that says their AI based system makes it possible to grow produce with peak season flavor year round almost anywhere in the world. More than 10 million data points are analyzed by AI each day across 12 grow rooms, adapting each grow room's environment to the evolving needs of the plants. Plenty says the farm itself uses 97% less land and up to 90% less water than conventional farming, while their patent pending pollination method using controlled airflow across strawberry flowers offers more efficient and effective pollination than using bees. The Richmond based company says their farms are the most technologically advanced in the world and remove the unpredictability of Mother Nature, predicted to become all the more predictable as the climate changes. The new indoor berry farm is designed to produce more than 4 million pounds of strawberries annually in less than 40,000 square feet by growing vertically on 30-foot tall towers. Excuse me. 30-foot tall flowers.
Yeah.
That would be quite a sight to behold.
Ooh.
Towers,
Oh
not
man.
flowers, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just checking out Plenty's website, and it's a beauty. It is a
I
beauty.
am
Let
too.
me,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice little logo
yeah.
there.
Let's let's show everyone. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, this is what
We'll
they're
yeah, we'll
talking
show the.
about, people. Yeah. So this is what they're talking about. If you're watching, yeah, you could see it, but if you're not, I'm showing Plenty's website in which you're seeing these video clips of these walls, these very tall walls of plants. And if we scroll down here, you could see one of their existing products, just telling you world's population is growing while farmland is shrinking. But yeah, look at this lettuce. Looks like regular lettuce, right? Zero
Oh man,
pesticides, craveable crunch. But yeah, you could already see it as I scroll down the bottom. Those are those
we
strawberries we're talking about.
you had me at crunch,
Yum,
my
yum,
friend.
yum. Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned, or it's mentioned in that article that you shared that these are they're exclusively growing
Yes,
Driscoll's strawberries, which we know Driscoll's. They've been around for a while. Make
that's
delicious
yeah.
strawberries.
That's the only brand I know. Technically, can you name another strawberry brand, Loves?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
a
I don't think I
strawberry
can.
aficionado?
No, I'm not.
If you would have sat
I
here, I
wish I
mean,
was
once I heard the
strawberry
name,
sommelier.
yeah. Once I heard the name, I said, "Oh yeah, Driscoll's, of course." But if before you said that name, if you said name a strawberry brand, I'd be
Ooh.
sitting here for a while going, "I don't think I can name one." And the Driscoll's, oh, duh, yeah. But I was never gonna get that. Is ask me about cheesecake instead. I'll tell you everything you want to know. I'll name every person who makes cheesecake in the world.
So, okay, good to know. We have lettuce and strawberries already being produced by an existing company that is, in the case of lettuce, currently available. Strawberries will soon be available in stores, Bertram. So, yeah,
Yeah,
there's progress there. So, I guess maybe I'm just asking you personally.
yeah.
Um, can you foresee in the near future people being able to grow like a meal's worth of plants and vertically?
Well, now I'm picturing something like Back to the Future 2, baby, where I don't know, where let's say you and
Plant,
I
yeah, this will be a plant-based dish,
let's say you and
obviously.
I live in
You're not growing eggs.
our Tempe, Arizona, our transportation free what is that? No cars, our no car place in Tempe,
Yeah,
Arizona that we did. What was the name of that place, Lowe's?
cul-de-sac.
The cul-de-sac. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe if we're living there, as good, and you're my neighbor, we say, "What do we want for lunch today?" And we say, I'd like some arugula." And I say, "Oh, let me get a pod going of some arugula. It'll be ready by lunch." Like, dang it! It grew. I put it in at 9 o'clock, and in 3 hours, I had a full arugula, plant right here. I don't know. That could be the future. I'm always interested in thinking about. I probably think about 3D printing food once a week at least. I'm just kind of obsessed with it. Yeah, I could definitely see every. I mean, we already have Arrow Garden, right? Do you have an Arrow Garden?
I don't know.
Arrow gardens are they're like a Keurig for coffee, but with plants. So you put your pods into this coffee like this like a coffee machine, but it's plants and it has the LED lighting. You put the water into it. You can add the food every couple of weeks, and you just let you have an indoor garden basically. And I I get annoyed with arrow gardens after a while because they're really hard to clean after a while, and they just kind of get cumbersome. But I think
Yeah,
that's the
I
start of
asked
something.
because Yeah, I asked because you did share an article from the BBC
Yes.
titled "How Far Can Vertical Farming Go?" So, within that that article, they're just talking about like these various methods that exist and what you can grow from them. So,
Yes.
um,
Well,
one
and to
example is, yeah, vertical grains. So like cereals like rice and
oh.
other stuff like that you could feed yourself, right? Rice is, that's a
Mm.
foundational food. Wheat, um, yeah, for you non-celiac people out there. Um, yeah, so it's exciting.
I also like that article because we were talking about what's the definition of a vertical farm. And they
Yeah,
said there is no strict definition of what a vertical farm is, but they typically consist of shallow trays stacked within a building lit with LED lighting at each level. Many vertical farms have no windows, and some are even built underground, which I think is fascinating too. Isn't that something you and I have talked about multiple times? I think we talk in our transportation episodes about moving possibly, how do we have less roads out here, how do we make more space for people. We're always talking about space, and one of the things we talk about is, can you build roads underground, just put everything underground. And
that's
this is
what
one
your
example.
favorite billionaire tried to do,
Is that the
Elon
boring
Musk.
company?
Yeah, that's
uh,
literally what that is.
why
Yeah,
would you say that he's my favorite?
he's your favorite.
No, I don't have a favorite billionaire. Not even well, Cuban's as close to you can get, but even him, man, just you got to be you got to be a Batman villain in order to become a billionaire. My policy is. What's interesting about this too, about this article with the BBC, is that it talks about salad and herbs do not need to flower and be fertilized, which gives them another advantage over other crops when it comes to vertical farming. Most fruits and vegetables do require pollination, and where it is needed for vertical farms, it would have to be done artificially at a cost. So that's possibly one of the drawbacks of vertical farming. Farmers already often rely on commercial bees to encourage pollination and maximize fruiting for both indoor and outdoor farming. For example, the almond industry, which you talked about, right, in California, which 85% is based in California's Central Valley, depends on billions of honeybees that are shipped tens of thousands of miles to and from Florida to pollinate the almond blossoms each year. The hives are brought in on trucks, and the bees are released into each grove before being moved on to the next farm. In the UK, strawberries grown in polytunnels are also pollinated with commercial honeybees, though curiously, pollination by wild bees results in larger fruit. So I imagine, Los, one of the drawbacks here of vertical farming or supply chains. How do we make sure that everything is accounted for, and having bee pollination is going to be something that has to be overcome? Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't like the idea of bees having to be shipped 3,000 miles to just
Hmm.
to, pollinate some almond leaves, flowers,
You got to have your
whatever.
you got to
That
have
just
your almonds.
that just doesn't sound right. Like we
Yeah,
need to get back to, yeah, common sense, right? Like when you think of an almond, you wouldn't imagine that a bee traveled across the country to get
yeah,
you that almond. Like, just doesn't sound right, man. Yeah, that gets to the core of like what's wrong with factory farming, industrial farming with animals and stuff. I'm not going to get into that. I can, but yeah, these common sense solutions, right? These, yeah, non-intrusive.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well, and also to talk about one of the problems, right? Because now that we understand, hey, there's going to be these possible supply chain issues. Look at the infrastructure that's going to have to be built to support these long term with sustainability. There's a really interesting article I put in from the Guardian that says Earth has lost a third of arable land in the past 40 years, scientists say, and so they talk about the world has lost a third of its arable land due to erosion or pollution in the past 40 years, with potentially disastrous consequences as global demand for food soars, scientists have warned. The continual plowing of fields combined with heavy use of fertilizers has degraded soils across the world, with erosion occurring at a pace of up to 100 times greater than the rate of soil formation. It takes around 500 years for just 2.5 centimeters of topsoil to be created amid unimpeded ecological changes. And so they talk about the Dust Bowl of the 1930s in North America. And, you know, this is a growing concern. So I think right now is a great time to talk about possible solutions to this, and I think vertical farming could be the direction that we want to go in, unless we're able to correct this soil issue. But those we have a lot of issues with our planet that we got to take care of.
Yeah, and we got to really focus on those and not get distracted by some other stuff.
Like what?
So we're not gonna. This isn't the podcast. This isn't what our old podcast is where we would get into that. But
That's fair.
um, the happy place. This is a happy place.
Yes, it is.
So okay, we went over plenty, right? Which looks great. They have great branding. So who are some other players in the vertical farming game today?
Oh, okay. So if you take a look at one of our show notes, talking about some of those big companies, you have Bright Farms is one. They specialize in growing fresh baby greens locally, emphasizing clean and pesticide-free produce. And they focus on sustainable non-GMO farming methods using only seeds, water, and sunshine. There's Cubic Farm Systems is another one. They finished their last part of a litigation in March 2024. Dream Harvest Farms is another one. They're a private vertical farming company.
Litigation. I'm gonna stop you there. Litigation. What do you mean?
They
You got
collected
sued?
about $2 million by selling pieces of the company. They sold over
Oh,
10 million parts at 20 cents each, which include a share
wow.
and a half option to buy another share later at 25 cents. This money will help the company keep running and manage its expenses.
Oh, okay. So they
Well,
saved themselves.
well, man. Well, we'll get to somebody down at the bottom that I had, want to have some litigation with. But Dream Harvest Farms, they offer blends with fun names like "Kaylin Me Softly" and "You Butter Believe It." Uh,
Ah,
that's Houston, Texas. Eden Green Technology, Farm One. It's another privately held company with neighborhood farms in Tribeca and Brooklyn. They offer weekly
ooh, New York.
subscription plans for New Yorkers wanting baby greens, microgreens, herbs, flowers, mushrooms, and smoothies. Okay, come on.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
Uh,
show this to my New Yorkers.
yeah, Freight Farms, GP
Oh,
Solutions.
indoor farm. So,
Mm-hmm.
wow, this is crazy. It's an
Yeah, Hydro
actual
Farm.
hangout
There is
spot.
there plenty's on here, by the way. There's a bunch of them. One of the ones that I think is down at the bottom. Where are you at? Yes, company's no longer on the list. App Harvest, who I saw, when I was into investing. Do you know who I went to listen to some investing advice from, not knowing who to trust?
Who?
Jim
Professor
Cramer.
G? Oh, Jim
Oh,
Cramer. Oh
oh,
no.
goofy Jim Cramer. I was listening to his show because he would have on people talk about their businesses. And one of the first episodes I ever listened to was App Harvest, where they were doing sustainable indoor farming. I said, that sounds like a really great idea. And man, I'm trying to think of when it was. It was probably like 2000. 2020, 2019, 2021, somewhere around there. Um, and so over time, I really believed in sustainable farming because they were also big in like trying to revitalize Kentucky, and sort of rewrite Kentucky's history to say, hey, let's go all in on farming and agriculture, specifically with sustainable instead of coal mining and things like that, putting in some sustainable indoor farming. And they went out of business, Los, and turns out that
Oh my
they did
goodness.
some like stock fraud and things, and I lost a pretty penny on App Harvest. Are you looking? Oh, that's Farm One. Okay.
I'm in
Um,
love. I am in love, Bertram. I'm going
yeah.
back. We're going back to Farm One. Those who
Okay.
are watching, you can see, yeah, on their website, their indoor farm, but a brewery, cocktail bar, event space. So if I'm on their website, look, okay, we see the video, but look at that. They got some events, study hall, coffee shop with nice graphics. Could buy these greens, experience the farm. They got classes teaching you about hydroponics. New Yorkers, come on. Come on. Shout out to Farm One. Visit there if you can.
Oh
I'll
man.
live vicariously through you. Look at that. It's beautiful.
Yes.
That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. All right. Back to you, Bertram. But oh, and the kids. And the kids. Oh my goodness. But I'm just in love, y'all. I love this. This is
Man,
good. This is a good
amazing.
episode.
But yeah, it looks like when App Harvest declared bankruptcy, they had like $3 million in debt and obligations, and
Oh,
so
that's
I imagine, and I know one of the difficult things that I learned about indoor farming through their going out of bankrupt, they're going out of business was if you're going to have robots and self automation with these vertical farms, and you're going to have you
mm,
know robots go in and pick the things. Apparently, they did tomatoes, and
mm,
that was one of the hardest. That was one of the hardest crops to go into. I don't want to call it a fruit, but it's a fruit. That was fine. I want to call tomatoes a
it is a
vegetable.
fruit.
If you want me to call it a fruit, fine. It's you have to be very delicate when picking tomatoes. I learned, and so having robots do that is a very tall task, and so they didn't do super well, and they went out of business. And
Damn.
took a bunch of my money with them. So these things are not perfect. But that is not even talking about the main disadvantage of vertical farming, which is energy. I
Wow.
do have a few links in the show notes that talk about how difficult how difficult it is to account for energy in vertical farming. There's an article I put in from the USDA that says vertical farming no longer a futuristic concept, and the author asked an expert, "What are the limitations of this type of farming?" And I'm trying to get this gentleman's name, Dr. James Alton. He's a research horticulturalist with the Application Technology Research Unit in Wooster, Ohio. So that's we're just making sure I dot my I's. It says the major disadvantage is that you give up access to the sun, which is the most abundant and free source of energy on Earth. Growing plants vertically in stacked systems often requires artificial light sources, which can become very costly. Vertical farming also requires humidity control through expensive and energy intensive heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. Another limitation is the general lack of knowledge and experience in maximizing crop productivity under a controlled environment. So these are some of the issues that we have, which I think you and I did an episode on Mad World about cryptocurrency and NFTs, and we talk
Yeah.
about, man, like why are we've gone so well, we've gone so in on tech that we are also coming up with some very high costs of electricity. You and I learned with cryptocurrency that these electricity costs are out of this world, and I imagine it's very similar with indoor farming.
Yeah, but these are the early days, right? So if I'm
Sure.
looking at the upside, okay, we've been able
Yes.
to get so much done. So, yes, so early in the game, right? So now we're able to evolve and sort of iteratively improve um the efficiency, right? So
Yeah.
10 years from now, this process will be a little more efficient. And so it's about what you're with the energy that you're using. We do focus a lot on the energy output. And I remember hearing someone talk about this with generative AI, because there was that huge thing about, a single search is like you taking 15 showers or something like that. Which they found that over time, since ChatGPT was introduced, a single search is more analogous to like spending 15 minutes on your laptop. Like, yeah, they've been able to refine that. So that just shows you in a
Mm.
matter of like 2.5 years, you went from, yeah, a single search, yeah, a prompt doing like, 3 refrigerators running or something like that for a day to now the output is, yeah, closer to like, yeah, using your, yeah, laptop for just a little bit or having a light bulb on for like 3 hours or something like that. So these things are going to get more efficient. It is unfortunate in terms of how much energy it's doing, but like with the energy that you're expending, what are you doing? And so the fact that you're growing food, which does save you energy and having to ship it in and having to grow it somewhere else and trucking and like stocking up and doing all of these things, you have to think about, okay, this energy that I'm putting, it's a lot right now, but like how does that compare to the energy output that I'd be getting from all these different sources if I was farming the traditional way and importing that into a city? So yes, it's a lot, but you're doing something on the positive side and you're going to get better at doing it, which means it's going to get more efficient. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at the upside here. Um, and yeah, so the future looks bright for vertical farming. It's just we need these companies to survive, right? It's tough out there, especially in the climate space, especially in the green space. Like it's very fickle. So my farm one in New York, hopefully they could
Yeah.
stick around and become more mainstream and we teach the kids about this stuff and then kids want to be vertical farmers when they grow up. Who knows?
Man, yes, please. You got me interested to talk about the refrigerator. It's like, what did people have to say when refrigerators started coming into this, the standard house, right? When I was looking back at the 1920s and the 1930s and industrialization, I was hoping I could find some quotes of people just being like, "Man, this is never going to
Yeah.
take off," you know? It's
Yeah.
like, how are you
Op-eds
going to
and
yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna put this gigantic electric box in somebody's home and like, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
You
gonna
should
suck up
just
so
eat
much
your food
energy.
right away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't put it. Yeah. So
What's wrong with an ice
that's
box?
we always have something to say there. And a lot of it is legitimate. These concerns are legitimate. I'm not poo-pooing the fact that, someone would raise concerns about the energy and you just want to be as
I
careful as possible.
I
But
blame the
yeah.
Segway.
Oh,
The
about
se-
what?
the Segway was that thing in our lifetime that came out, and everyone's like, "This is going to completely change transportation. This is how everybody is. You're gonna see every person's gonna have a Segway. You're gonna see a Segway everywhere you go." I was like, "Dang!" And we all started to accept that. Oh, I guess the Segway's our new way of life, and it just never really caught on. And
Never
I was
happened.
like, maybe we assume that a little too much. That that no, this will never take off, and then most things do, man.
Yeah, well, I think what is interesting and promising about vertical farming is that it's becoming, I don't want to use this word, but it is becoming industrialized in the sense that you're
Yeah.
seeing the end product in store shelves or at your local bar or restaurant. Like this isn't just like a bunch of people in an apartment building trying to grow like, a cucumber that, only they're gonna partake in. Like this is happening at a mass scale to feed and help many, many people. So
There's
that's
our
what
new
gives
cul
me,
that's
yeah.
our new cul-de-sac, Los. Is the
Uh-oh.
cul-de-sac that we looked into was, for people who want a carless lifestyle. You and I'll start our own cul-de-sac where we'll be vertical farmers, where the whole neighborhood works together to grow things like, oh, hey, me and all the people over here are gonna go get the cucumbers for everybody, and we'll all have
Mhm.
giant meals together.
Yeah. I like the man, vertical rice patties. I'm still stuck on that.
Oh, man.
That's cool.
But
Who doesn't love rice? But
absolutely. That's all I got, Los. The Smithsonian is the last article I have where they're turning empty office buildings into vertical farms, but we already can kind of guess that. Uh, and it happened because the COVID-19 pandemic drove workers out of their offices, and many office buildings are still deserted. According to data gathered in 10 major cities, office usage rates just crossed 50% of pre-pandemic levels in late January, and these numbers seem to be stalling only a few months later. Nearly 20% of office space is empty across the United States, and some projections suggest that more than 300 million square feet of U.S. office space could be obsolete by 2030. The pandemic has shown that people are capable of working in a remote setting, and so that was something that they're talking about. I think it was AgriPlay. AgriPlay Ventures is a company in Calgary, Alberta, that is utilizing some of this office space. Um, They want to expand to more floors of office buildings. Was it though one floor of the approximately 262,000 square foot building is being utilized for food production? They want to expand to another two floors in the coming months and years. They're negotiating offers on more than 1 million square feet of office space in Calgary to turn into vertical farms. Those.
Ooh,
Wow.
imagine that. Imagine you have a skyscraper in town that's specifically it exists just for farming. So it's like
Yeah.
you're walking to your local farm, but it's like a skyscraper, like a 20-story, 30-story building. That'd be amazing.
We
So
got
like
plenty
I
of
could
room
be
if
in
we
New
build
York
up.
and I'm like, let's go to the farm. And you're like, where's the farm at? It's
It's
in
right there.
Tribeca. It's up there.
It's in the Bronx.
So yeah, that's exciting. This is one of the most exciting I've been yet on an episode because
Really? Wow.
yeah, cul-de-sac
Not
was cool.
Oh,
Cul-de-sac
I
was
like
cool, but
cul-de-sac, man. I'm gone. You
being
don't
able to
know, but
see
I
those juicy strawberries and then seeing Farm One, a place you could hang out and know that your food's coming from just it's literally local. It's not like, oh, it's a 2-hour drive upstate in New York. It's like, no, it was done like in the back room. I'm not saying it was literally done, but yeah, it's effectively like right down the hallway. That's crazy.
is that is that what you're growing first? If you had your own vertical farm, you're growing strawberries, Lowe's?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
I
what you
want.
could grow yet. I am ignorant in terms of the actual crops
Okay.
and stuff you could grow, but
If I
we'll
had
see.
my own way, I want blueberries, man. I could eat blueberries every day, all day, every day.
Blueberries are delicious. Yeah.
I'll get it on a blueberry only diet, Lowe's.
You're a blueberry tarian?
Oh man, I'm. You know who my favorite character was in Willy Wonka?
Oh no. Violet, is that her
oh,
name?
oh, Violet Beauregard.
Oh my god. She turned into a blueberry.
That's my favorite literary character
They had to
after
dejuice her.
Scrooge.
Oh my
Oh my god.
goodness.
You're
Shout
turning
outs to Willy
violet,
Wonka and the
Violet.
Chocolate Factory.
Nah, man, Roald Dahl's a messed up dude. Apparently, he was not all right. Not a nice man.
Either
No,
way, yeah, I'm not concerned
can't
about
get
that.
Roald
I'm
Dahl.
concerned. I like the movie they made. So
Which
Gene
one?
Wilder.
Oh yeah, okay,
Gene
good.
Wilder.
You seem
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Timothy Chalamet fan.
I never watched that one, but
Okay, I
we'll
didn't
see.
either.
I'll give it. I am a fan of Timothy Chalamet, but yeah.
I think I
All
watched the
right,
Willy Wonka movie.
everyone. Well, that's it for this episode of The Upsiders. I'm Los. That's Bertram. We'll catch you next time, but feel free to like us, subscribe to us so you know when the next episode is out. And share with your friends, family, and even worse enemies. Let them know that hey, there is the other side, and that is the upside.
The
So we'll see
upside.
you there. Thank you, y'all.
You lose. Good day, sir.